So last week we learned chapter 23, where we were talking about Besuros HaGeulah from the Navi of our generation. And we looked at a number of different things that the Rebbe had said, for example, that tshuva is completely done, because even if one person does tshuva, it's like we all have done tshuva. So the call of the previous Rebbe, tshuva, that's already done. We talked about the fact that the reason we're spread over the entire world is to be environed in sites around the world, but that also has already been done. And therefore, what we said is that if tshuva has already been done, and the bir nitzutz has already been done, and the polishing the bonds has already been done, then really everything that we need to do in Gullus, that's already done. And also the spreading of Chassidus, that's already been done too. So in the Iyunim, we'll start with that for this chapter. There's an interesting medrash that the Rebbe often talks about. And we want to understand this medrash based on what we've learned in this particular chapter. So here we are, the Du-Siach Medrashi Bilvush Chasidi. So the dialogue in the medrash based on what we've learned how we can learn this medrash based on Chassidus. So we find that what we said is B'Saycha Perak Huvu Divrei Harevi B'Sicha Shabbos Paras Vayeshiv Tashanum Beis, but Medaber al Pizurim Shel Yisrael B'Chala Island B'Chdei Levar as a Nitzaitza Sheb'Chol Makam. Right? That's what we were saying. That what was the reason? One of the things we said was, if we say that the reason for Gullus is for us to be environed in sites around the world, well, the Rebbe said that that's why we were spread out throughout the entire world, and also that job was done. Now, based on that sicha, we want to now understand a very interesting medrash in Shir and Rabbah. So the Keshla Zayesh is Tana Divrei HaMedrash. So here is the medrash, and instead of just reading it from here, I've created a source sheet with the Kudus for this particular medrash, and we can see it. Oh, sorry, what I had just there. Okay, right here. Okay, so you can see the medrash, Shir.
No.
Well, what did it just do? It just ran away from me. 1 second, we got to bring it back where it belongs. It was here. I don't know why it moved. Okay, 1 second. We'll stop sharing and get it back up again. That was a very funny thing. Okay. So, you see it now?
Yeah.
Bigger. Okay. So this is the computer is doing such fun things today. Okay. So here we have our medrash from Shir. And what does it say? Rabbi Yudim, Rabbi Chunya, Rabbi Yudim, Shem, Rabbi. Oops, can't even see it myself. Eliezer, B'nai Rabbi Yosef, Glili, Rabbi Chunya, B'Shem, Rabbi Eliezer, and Yaakov Eimer. What do they say? So on the words in Shir, it says, Kol Daidi Hine Zeba. Right, there is the voice, the sound of my beloved. Behold, he's approaching. And the medrash, actually, this medrash begins saying that there are a number of different opinions, and it starts off by saying that this is actually Moshe, and talks about this dialogue between Moshe Rabbeinu and Bnei Yisrael. And then this opinion, though, as it goes on, the medrash says that this idea called this is actually Mashiach. B'shash hu Amar Yisrael, when Mashiach comes along, and he tells Bnei Yisrael, this is the month that you're going to be redeemed. So then there's a dialogue. If Mashiach comes and tells Bnei Yisrael, this is the month that you're going to be redeemed, right? The month of Nisan. So Bnei Yisrael respond to Mashiach and say, how can we be redeemed now? But like, I'm sorry. Didn't Hashem say that he took this oath, right? That we are going to be subservient, we're going to be to 70 nations. He's going to subjugate us to 70 nations. So how could we be redeemed? That hasn't happened yet. And so the Mashiach, the Medrash says, answers and gives them two answers. He says to them, first answer, Echad mikem goyla barbaria, ve'echad mikem goyla simatria. So if even one of you is exiled to Barbari, wherever that is, I don't know, and one of you is exiled to Smatria, then it's as if you've all been sent to exile there. Okay, so again, similar to like, when we talked about in our chapter 23, that the Rebbe says that the idea that everyone has to do tshuva before Mashiach comes, even if everyone just has to hear tshuva, that's already considered it, right? So here it's in a way, it's like that. Okay, so the Hashem said you have to be subservient to 70 nations. Even if one of you end up there, it's as if you've all been exiled. And not only that, but it's not only that, but this Malchus, and that's the Malchus of Rome, because according to a Medrash, right, the Malchus of Rome, very after the destruction of the base of Midrash, is the Gullah sort of that we're in now. So he also says this Malchus, Machteves Tirania B'Kol Ha'olam. So it imposes, as you see here, levies in the entire world, Mikol Uma V'Uma, from every single nation. Kuti Echad or Barbary Echad Ba U'Mishabed B'Chem. So if there is even one of these people, one Kuti or one person from Bavaria who comes along and subjugates you, Kigai Shishibadatem Behem Kol Umasam, so as though you were subjugated to that whole nation, kind of a thing. That's what it would be like. And then it's like you've been subservient to all 70 nations. So if it says you have to be among 70 nations, well, even if one of you is there, it's as if all of you are there.
But that was the first example. So what's the second example?
So the second one is saying that even if one of you goes into that exile, and here it's saying that even if one of these persons comes along and subjugates you, so not like that person is subjugating in the country, but even if one of those people subjugates you.
In Rome, for example.
It's right, in Rome, there's barbarian, as he says, barbaria. If he comes along and subjugates you, it's as though you were subjugated to the entire nation of Barbaria. Okay, so in other words, it goes both ways. If either one Jewish person was exiled to that country, then it's as if the whole Jewish people were there. Or if one barbarian subjugates one other Jew, it's as if the entire Jewish nation was subjugated to that country, to that nation. Okay? And therefore, and that's how we can say it was during this month. This is the first month of Geula for you. Okay, so this medrash is an interesting medrash, right? This is this whole dialogue between, welcome Rivki, between Mashiach and the Jewish people. So what does this mean? Let's go back to our sheet before where we were, and let's go to these Iyunim. So here we have our entire the Shir Shem Rabbah that we just said. So now we want to understand what this means. Okay, this needs some explanation. Ma mashmo samshel divrei am Yisrael. What is this medrash telling us? What is the meaning of the Jewish people saying, Nishba HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yishabe Aysana B'Shivim Umas, that Hashem swore that He is going to subjugate us to the 70 nations. And what is really this meaning of these two answers? That if even one Jew is subjugated by the nation, or if one of those nations subjugates even one Jew, then it's as if you've already been exiled to that nation. Ubefrat, and especially, and especially because the Rebbe quotes this medrash a number of times and relates it back to our times right now. That the Nasi, as the Rebbe always said, Nasi is Melech Mashiach. The Nasi reveals himself as Mashiach. And he comes along and he tells them of the Geula that's coming, right? Coming very soon. As we're going to see in our future chapters in more detail. So then again, we have this question. So where in our time do we see this kind of a dialogue happening between Bnei Yisrael and Mashiach? This idea of you saying Mashiach can come, but how is it possible? And Mashiach answers, because we just need, this kind of answer. Okay, so would someone like to continue?
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Mafteach להבנת הדברים. נוכל להשתמש בביור חסידus על משפט אחד מתוך המדרש הנ"ל. So for a key to understand these things, we can use an explanation of Hasidus on one sentence in this medrash. שבכמה מאמרים מצטט הלשון, אחד מכם גוילה לברבריה ואחד מכם גוילה לסמטריה. ומבאר על כך שמטרסה של פיזור זה הוא כנ"ל בשביל ביור הנצושה שבכל העולם. So there are a few Maimarim where this sentence is cited.
Yeah.
Cited. That one will be in Golos and Barbaria and the other one in the other country. And the explanation there is that the purpose of this separation of this is, as we said, in order to be mevar,
spreading out everywhere.
Right, spreading out is to be mevar din etzutzos in the whole world. Well, pi bir ze muvan shekol hadusiach shebein Yisrael Mashiach sevev saviv bir hanetzutzos v'chanas ha'olam legeula. So according to this, we understand that the conversation between Bnei Yisrael and Mashiach is all around this, the idea of being mevar din etzutzos and preparing the world for the Geula. Ela shemedrash kedarka itzofin es advarim b'amiros pashtaniyos v'terach chassidus kedarka magalas hamashmois hapnimius shebedvarim. So as usual, the Medrash is going to say the words according to the Pshat, and Chassidus is going to reveal the inner meaning in these words.
Right. So we know that Medrash often is like in code, right? It says things, and it makes it sound as if it's just like it's as it is in Pshat, but it really has much deeper meanings. And if we look into what it's saying, we can find what that deeper meaning is.
Well, Pia Vanazu, Kavanas B'nai Yisrael B'Shaila, Nishbakash Baruch Hashu Mashabdeinu B'Shivim Umais, He Loimar Shakash Baruch Hu Hito Elenas Hashlichos Levaras Kol Umas Ha'olam. So, according to this, we understand that the idea of the Jews' question, Hashem promised that we will be subservient to 70 nations, means to say that Hashem gave us the shluchos to mevar zayin all the nations of the world. And we have to prepare them for the Geula, and we still did not complete this. So Mashiach answers the first question, that it's with the first answer, that it's enough for one Jew in a whole land. If one Jew in a whole land does a mitzvah, so that's enough to prepare the place for Geula. And the second answer is that there are places in the world that are central. And when Bnei Yisrael are mevarer and fix what is needed in those places, then it's as if they fix the whole world. I guess that's the example because Rome really ruled over the whole world. So if someone does something in Rome, then it's as if they did it to the whole world. And according to this, we understand that the words of the Medrash is that which was spoken on the Sicha and Parshas Vayeshev and Tavshin and Beis. Because that Sicha starts with the announcement as above, that we're already standing ready for the true and full Geula through Mashiach Tzidkenu right now. And there raises a question, what the Rebbe presents like a question that comes from everyone. HaGeulah rei tulei b'kach shekol ha'olam yeh muchen lakach b'beburim shalom ha'olam v'chol ha'arotzos. Heichen royim shalom heim shine ba'olam shalom keis muchen l'geulah yetzer mi'v'deres ha'kodim. So the Rebbe says these words. There are those who ask if the Geula depends on the fact that the whole world has to be ready for it, being mevar, the different nations and all the different lands. So where do we see, they ask, a difference in the world, that the world now is ready for Geula more than it was in the earlier generations. שמשיח מגיע אתם נגאלים ועל כל ישראל שלם נשבע הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא משעבד אותנו ב70 אומות. So now we see that the announcement and the question in the Sikha is the same announcement and the question of the Medrash. The Mashiach announces you are going to be redeemed, or you are redeemed, and Bnei Israel asks the question, but Hashem promised that we're going to be subservient to 70 nations. And in the Sikha, the Rebbe continues and explains in length that the spreading out of Bnei Israel and Galus is to be mevar nitzutzos that are found in every place. We're up to Umasayim?
Yep.
Umasayim Kanal, al pize muvan hachidush shel dereinu zeh, Yehudim nimtzoyim b'kol kitzvei tevel mamish, umkayim Hashem Torah mitzvos, kasher mizbainim bazeh afilu rega kol, reim sachidush shel dereinu l'gabe Aderes HaKodim Makach Sheyesh No Abira Vazichok Shel Kol Medina uMedina Shaba'ela. And the Rebbe finishes with, according to this, we understand the Chiddush of this generation, because now Jews are found in all corners of the world, and they do Torah mitzvahs. And when we think about this, even for a short moment, we see that there is a big Chiddush of our generation compared to other generations, because now there is the Bir and Zichuch of every single nation of the world. V'kadayekes zui b'diuk tshuvas seherishon shel Mashiach b'medrash. Echad mikem goyle lebarbaria, v'echad mikem goyle smat teria. V'arei atem ruim legula. Shemaspik Yehudi echad b'chol makom b'chtei lezachcha yachinu legula. So that now we see that this is the first answer of Mashiach in the Medrash, that one of you is exiled to this one place and another one to this other place, and we're already worthy of the Geula, because it's enough that one Yid in each place is in each place in order to prepare that place for the Geula. ובהמשך השיחה, ציומה ישנה ריחוס בנגיע למדינה צרפת, והמהפך הרוחני שהחל בה, מהזמן של אדמו"ר זקן, ביוסי תחת ממשלת נפוליאון, שהביא עימו רוח של פריקס עול התחתון ביוסר מבחינה רוחנית.
פריקס עול מלכות שמיים.
Oh, thank you. כאשר צרפת היה המקום התחתון ביוסר מבחינה רוחנית, so in the continuation of the Sikha till the end, there's a long explanation about France and the spiritual revolution that happened in it from the time of the Alter Rebbe, when it was under Napoleon, that Napoleon brought with him a Prikas Ol Malchus Shamayim. And at that time, France was the lowest in the world in a Ruchnistic level, till our generation, when France is completely changed over to a place of Torah. Umesayim bebir shel Medina zu nigmar v'nishlam bir kol ha'olam. Shleimus habir shel kol ha'olam kebigula. Toli umezbate bebir b'derech haslapshus shel galus tzarfas. And the Rebbe finishes off saying that the beer of this country finished and completed the beer of the whole world. The completion of the beer of the whole world for the Geula it depends on and is expressed in this beer of the Galus of France. וכדאיקש, זהו על דרך תשובתו השנייה של משיח במדרש ביחס למחוז הזויס, שעל ידי בירורו של מחוז אחז נעשה העולם כולו רואי ומוכן לגאולה. And this is the second answer of Mashiach in the Medrash. When it's talking about this nation, right? Then it was talking about Rome. That through the bearer of one nation, so the whole world is ready for the Geula. Yeah, that's very amazing.
Right? Yeah, and it's almost like the very similar conversation, similar words.
Wow.
Okay, so we're all ready, right? There are no excuses. It's all done. That's it. Okay, so may we just merit to see it immediately.
Amen.